Here's KATC Chief Meteorologist Rob Perillo.
Welcome back. Well, typical weather for Acadiana for this time of year. We are looking at afternoon storms, temperatures in the lower 90s tomorrow and Saturday. Then a tropical storm, and it's going to be here for 36 hours or so. So we'll talk more about that in just a bit. Big picture here as we do the setup. High pressure ridge back to the west has been pouring lots of dry air into the western Gulf. That's good news. We don't want a system that's going to be enveloped with lots of deep tropical moisture. And this system, whatever comes out of here, is going to be fighting that dry air on the western flank. But notice all the deep tropical moisture already edging into the Atlantic. So this is how it's probably going to play out. Weighted heavily on the eastern side of this circle, the eastern semicircle of whatever storm develops. And what's developing it? Well, this upper level low is digging down into the Gulf, and that's going to help lift this to the north. But after that upper level low moves, high pressure builds in, and that may force the forecast track farther to the west after a northerly run to the northwest, and that's what the models have been indicating. We'll show you the Euro in just a bit. Today, a scattering and smattering of showers and some thunderstorms. Still a couple of hefty storms out in the basin. These sometimes slip into the area around 8 or 8:30 at night, so we'll watch that. But it looks like once we lose daytime heating, things should quiet down. The storms that were in Lafayette, Vermilion Parish are falling apart. Still some lingering showers, but things quieting down. And by the way, space station visible at 9:41 this evening. I posted that on my Facebook and Twitter feeds, so check that out. 9:41 comes overhead at 9:42. Meanwhile, and should be fair skies. Meanwhile, we are watching tropical depression Cristobal down here in Mexico. I'm going to get this right before this storm is done. It's a tropical depression right now. Have a hard time with it. It's kind of a mental block, but nonetheless, tropical depression right now. Heaviest convection farther to the east into the Yucatan Peninsula. And the question is, what's going to emerge out in the Gulf of Mexico? So as we get into tomorrow late, we'll see what kind of storm structure we have. It's something organized, then we're going to have a pretty good, solid tropical storm. Hurricane not off the table, but most likely a tropical storm because the wind fields are going to be spread out, and it's hard to get a large wind field tropical storm to become a hurricane. But nonetheless, that's the forecast per the National Hurricane Center, getting up to a 60-mile-per-hour storm. And notice, heading for southeast Louisiana and then that northwest turn late. So weather conditions will be deteriorating Sunday afternoon, southeast Louisiana and the rest of Acadiana going into Sunday evening, Sunday night, and maybe most of the day on Monday. Here's the European model indicating a pretty large system. Notice it's pretty dry on the western side, pretty wet and stormy on the eastern and northeastern quadrants here. And again, some of those squalls working their way into the coastal areas by Sunday afternoon. Winds picking up as the day progresses Sunday, and then this tropical storm begins to make landfall. We got to be on the lookout for these squalls right here. This is where you'll see gusts to 60. Most of us won't see 60-mile-an-hour winds. They're probably going to be closer to 20 to 40. But again, these rain squalls will have the strongest winds and produce anywhere between 2 to 4 inches of rain in less than an hour's time. So that's why there's going to be sporadic flooding threat as well. And with those southerly winds coming in as we go through Sunday into Monday, we're going to have storm tides coming up, and they could be quite significant down the line. Rainfall-wise, we're going to say 3 to 6. Notice hot spots 10 inches offshore. We'll have to keep an eye on this product. We can't buy into it quite yet. So tides and the surge, 2 to 3 feet coming up on the coast Sunday. 3 to 6 feet Sunday night into Monday, depending on the track. 3 to 6 inches of rainfall for most folks. We can deal with that, but isolated where storms persist or those bands persist or squalls persist, it could be double that. Sustained winds, we're going to say 25 to 40, and again, this is all probably going to change in some way, shape, or form. Gusts to 50 to 60 in those squalls. And tornado risk, yeah, there's going to be some sort of tornado risk, but that kind of goes on the back burner when you have such a major disruptive system moving on through. And think Hurricane Barry, Tropical Storm Barry last year, only with more wind for more folks and maybe less intensity for our friends in St. Mary Parish. But we're going to know that tropical storm is moving in. Rain chances way up there through Monday, slowly die down as we get into Wednesday. Drier air toward the end of next week. That's it for weather for right now. We'll be right back right after this.